Welcome back, guys. Really enjoyed having that first conversation under our belt. I learned quite a bit about the VIE and the WOFE. So one of the things I want to ask about, there was this migration from the old economy to the new economy, new business economy. I wondered, did it start in media and internet and then get into education or television, or did it start across everything? And I have the impression, as a person who's outside of China, that it must have been piecemeal in the big cities first, in the second-tier cities second, and then somewhere else along the lines. And I'll let you start, David.
Yeah, I think government has a national policy called Internet Plus. And then there's another initiative called Popular Mass, I should translate into Mass Innovation and Entrepreneurship. It's a national program, actually, nationwide. So try to encourage people to take opportunity to start their own companies, to be more innovative, and to serve the new middle class.
Yes. And then did you participate in this wave of entrepreneurship that was going on and starting new companies in China?
Well, we were the startup companies at that time. Even we kind of went public pretty soon. Right. So I think what happened was really that the information flow enable more communication, enable more possibility for commerce. Then afterwards, everything kind of just started taking off.
So now you had your company here, you came here, I just want to check, how many years did you have the company before you raised money in Sand Hill Road in 2005, and then you went public 2 years after, but how long had you had the company?
So in the beginning, our company was started in Silicon Valley, but the first investor for our company was the China-based state-owned enterprise. So we moved back to China, and then they were our investor for 4 years, and then we restructured our company to getting ready for more professional VC money in 2005.
Now, in that time, there were no Chinese VCs around at all. You had to come to some place like Sand Hill Road. What did the SOE, the state-owned enterprise, say about that move? Were they in agreement, or did they have a second opinion?
They pretty supportive, because I think they see that the business direction we are going into may not be the direction they want. So I think we happily restructure the company.
Mm-hmm. Did they maintain? They were diluted down, I shouldn't say, with the VC money. But I guess all the board meetings and the governances were handled appropriately, so they were happy.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, after CNET, what did you do? Did you join another company or two?
So after CNET, I joined another startup, so I was one of the co-founders there, and we were doing kind of technologies for the 2.5G and 3G mobile internet. So
did that company also go public or get acquired?
Not as lucky. But however, that company did have China branch office. At the same time, we have team there, and we try to also expand the business there to the carriers and to some of the major content providers there.
Okay, so I've come to understand through the conversations with both of you that today there is a professional investment groups. There are groups of venture capital who reside in China. Some are from Silicon Valley and some are native or original Chinese investors. And they all operate more or less along the same lines.
Yeah.
And now that the public markets have opened up, this is starting to have a tremendous return of capital to these investors. And so how did the public markets get started? I'll come to you first. In terms of being open to startup companies going public.
I think the government realized that in order to grow the new economy in China, the Chinese capital market need to be reformed. So they are willing to look at the US NASDAQ or NYSE as role models. How they help those startup companies or technology companies, even though they are not profitable, they still can go public. In the old days, only those highly profitable companies, like oil energy company, they can go public, like state-owned enterprise or some private-owned enterprise if they are profitable. But it's not easy for all the technology companies to be profitable in the early beginning of the company's history.
Is the IPO process similar to the U.S.? I mean, you find an underwriter who's going to guarantee the money or the proceeds to the company, and then it's the underwriter's responsibility to go get the stock sold to mutual funds and other investors. Same idea?
Same process. I think at that time when Sina went IPO, it was on NASDAQ. I think versus startup companies these days in China, they have more options. They go listed in Hong Kong, they may even go to Europe. At the same time, they have the option to be the A-share listing in China. And actually, the A-share listing today in China get more appreciation in terms of valuation than the U.S. market.
Wow, you're going to have to help me. What is an A-share listing in China? An A-share, is that like a blue chip, or is that a NASDAQ or something else?
David, you want to help on that?
Yeah, it's like blue chip.
Blue chip.
Yeah.
So who would be A-shares type companies in China?
Like state-owned enterprise, some large privately owned enterprise.
I see. So these are large, dominant, somewhat oligopoly, if not a monopoly type enterprise. Do they pay dividends? Is it stable, or is it volatile, or how does that work?
They do pay dividends for some of them, not all of them.
And are there money market makers, meaning there's a bid and ask on the public market similar to what you have in the U.S.?
Yes.
So it's quite similar.
Yeah. For the serving the oil economy, it's pretty efficient. What I heard the last year, the Chinese stock market, the capital market raised a lot more money compared to the U.S. stock market.
Who is buying the shares? Is it Chinese citizens, individuals, or is it institutions of some type?
They have retail investors. They also have institutional investors. Government also opened up allocation for international investors.
They have?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one question we chatted a little bit about this is the issue of the governance of the corporations, the transparency, the disclosure. I'll let you start that conversation. Is there something to be done there to make that more transparent, frankly?
Yeah, actually, for some of these companies to go public overseas, they're really compliant. So there are consulting firms and also insurance, which also provide consulting to these company executives. So they have the same level of transparency, the same kind of level of governance as the international companies.
They do?
Yes.
Audits and so on like that? Is that all part of that requirement?
For audits, they want to be compliant, especially if they go public overseas, and they have to. So that's part of the.
And this is, you say, if a Chinese company goes public overseas, meaning in the U.S., then they have to have an audit. But inside of China, if a Chinese company goes public, are the controls and regulations as rigorous or even somewhere in the same range?
I would say probably not as rigid, but at the same time, they try to pick up the practice very, very quickly.
What happens if a company is found they have fraudulent books? I mean, we have it in the U.S. It does happen. We hate this. But what happens in China? Do they lose their license? Does the government take them away? Or does the public just punish them by selling their stock for nothing?
I think government right now is trying to make sure the capital market need to be efficient in order to promote the new economy. So there are a lot of new programs. And then they also cracking down many inside trading cases. But this is still undergoing right now, and then we're going to see more result in the near future.
We've had a lot of manipulation here in the U.S. I mean, all these regulators, and there are a number of well-known people in jail for this.
Yeah.
It takes time to get this right, and even in the best of circumstances, it's still going to go on. So let's take a look at maybe something like the London Stock Exchange, or the Toronto Stock Exchange, or the Vancouver. All these different international stock exchanges do all have manipulation problems.
Yep.
Do you think China's going to try to step up and really put up a very strong compliance and policing regulatory situation so they can get, shall we say, respect in the international markets?
I think capital market reform is one of the top agenda for the new administration, because this is crucial for the new economy, for the old economy. The Central Planning Commission and plus the banking organization, those are the organization, financial institution play a much bigger role in promoting the old economy, right? But for capital market, it's become essential right now. So I think a lot of reforms are ongoing right now, and then we are going to wait and see what's the end result. But my thinking is that this is going to be pretty promising.
Okay. You've indicated, and obviously you both lived there and been there, the banking sector in China is extremely inefficient, it's very bureaucratic, it's very old economy, and that the government has allowed the mobile platform, the companies doing banking with mobile platforms, to come in and essentially disrupt these established banking organizations.
So first of all, I want to clarify that I think the banks, in terms of processing in China today, they are definitely a lot more efficient today. But it is that mass kind of users, customers there. When you go in, you take a ticket, you can easily wait for 2 hours before it's your turn. And afterwards, there's still a lot of paperwork. So that inefficiency is really kind of almost inherent because of the number of customers and because of some of the processing are still kind of requires a lot of kind of more traditional processing. So I guess the new type of internet-enabled financial service, which kind of really provide a lot of these intermediation type of processing online and through mobile phone at the same time, automated. So I think that's where the efficiency comes in. At the same time, since it's going through online, going through mobile, this physical queue is really being killed. So you no longer have to wait for 2 hours.
So another thought, another situation I've observed really is that everybody in China, it seems everybody has a mobile phone. And life revolves around your mobile phone now. I think it's their computer, it's their connection, it's the way of paying bills. They just use it incessantly. 600 million mobile phone users, my goodness, that's a huge market. And they're all now embracing these mobile technologies. So this is a tremendous growth story. And I saw people doing education on the mobile phone. Are you involved in that today?
Yeah.
The mobile?
Yes.
And so what are you doing in China today? And I'll start with you, Johnny. What are you doing in China today, business-wise?
So business-wise, I mean, these days I kind of go there less often, but I still invested in a few companies there. But all of them, as long as they're kind of online, they're mobile first.
How do you invest with them? How do you just go in like a normal angel investor?
Some of them were through some of these smaller angel group before, and these days, like in professional angel group like Sandhill Angels, we actually have these international companies approaching us. At the same time, they are here today in some of the incubators, accelerators today. They are directly from China. They come here. They try to not only get in the China market, but at the same time, they try to address the global market.
And your business activity in China, is it growing?
I stepped down from daily operation around 2011 and then moved back to the US in 2012. So in the first 3 years, I rarely went back to China, but lately I went to China more often. I'm doing a little bit personal angel investment mainly in the US, but sometimes also do it in China. And I'm also helping some of my portfolio company to expand their business in China.
A couple of the areas that we see as expansion, big opportunities in China are clean water, clean air, clean environment, all this type of stuff. There are many Silicon Valley companies and US-based companies that can do this type of work. Do you think that in this growing economy that they will have an opportunity to participate in the growth of China, China's growth and its reformation of the ecology, of the environment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think electric cars, this type of new clean technology companies are all in hot demand, and it's a big issue, right? Pollution. So everyone's trying to get a clean water, clean air. I think definitely there are ample opportunities for many Silicon Valley startups.
Well, we're at the kind of the end of the show time-wise, and I've enjoyed both of you very much. You've been very insightful, and I want to thank you, Joining, for coming in, and David, Chen, you for coming in. Do you have contact information if somebody would like to follow up with you directly from the show?
DLFCHN at gmail.com.
At Gmail,
Yeah.
okay, and Joining?
I have JTA@sandhillangels.com.
It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, so I very much enjoyed it, and I thank you for coming in tonight, and
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds great.
thanks very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
This is Jim Connor. I'd like to thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Game Changers Silicon Valley. Each week, we'll address an area of innovation that may emerge as a game changer of tomorrow. You can follow us on our website, gamechangers.tv, Facebook, or Twitter. We look forward to your continued interest and participation in the upcoming shows.